What is up, RotoGrinders? Happy Friday. Happy Film Friday. We'll get to that momentarily. It's myself, Dean7904. If you want to get all technical, joined today by Bobby Gomes on a Friday, 2 hours nonstop MLB DFS conversation. It starts right now. Crunch time coming on later. You got TJ Zwarych. TJ's holding it down, as well as Beer and Cheese. Beer and Cheese joining the show in about an hour and 15 minutes. Myself and Bobby, we're going to break down tonight's 11-game MLB DFS slate, the first slate post-trade deadline. Lots of good pitching, some interesting hitting spots, potentially chalky Pirates in cores.
Yikes.
Over a 6 total. Have you heard about this, Bobby?
I've heard, yeah. They're priced up too for cores.
On DK they are, on FanDuel not so much. FanDuel didn't really get the memo. O'Neal Cruz was like 3-3 over there. Maybe he's 3-4, but it's
he's probably locked on FanDuel.
Take. I don't know if it's baseball, so like anybody can go for 5, right? It's kind of an ownership conversation because everybody else sees the same thing. It's not like basketball where a superstar is like 20% too cheap and you just whatever, they're gonna get there.
Lock button.
Do you do that? Do you hit lock button on hitters sometimes for 150?
Guys, yeah. If I see something I like, Dean, maybe I see something I like on this slate, I'll let you know when we get there.
That is, is that a tease? Do you have a couple things? Do you have a potential lock button? I'll lock button a pitcher for sure. A pitcher.
Not currently, I don't, but we'll see.
Yeah. Hitters, it's just not something I do. Very, very rare. We're going to see some goofy lineups as well, just kind of some players in transition, some trades you may have missed. Just some things might look a little bit different. Going to take a little bit getting used to. A lot of bullpen stuff shuffled out around as well. Do you have any takeaways from the trade deadline, Bobby? Were you
monitoring back Gino? Wasn't he a Mariner at one time?
Suarez? Yeah. Him and Josh Naylor are reunited as well. Yeah, Gino in Seattle.
Yeah. What did you like from the trade deadline, Dean? That's all I have.
I thought that San Diego, and you never know how this stuff turns out, but they traded away a top 5 prospect. Stop me if you heard this before. For a player that now I think they're going to have control for Mason Miller, right, for so many years, but trading away for a pitcher who throws like 103. And I'm not wishing injury in the guy, but like he certainly looks like a guy that might get injured just if you watch him pitch,
Nice team.
And the San Diego team, not that long ago, Bobby, traded away Gore and Soto and CJ Abrams for 2 months of Juan Soto. And at least they're going for it. Respect, I suppose. I think San Diego is just playing for a 5-inning game. They're going to be in the playoffs, and their bullpen, some would argue, the best bullpen in baseball, just got one of the best arms in baseball for the bullpen. So they're going to be really hard to play in the playoffs. I'll say that because their starters just need to give them like 4 or 5 innings, and the bullpen's just going to take over, and it's going to be tough. So interesting move. They traded away an 18-year-old kid. You never really know how stuff turns out.
Who, the shortstop? Was it the shortstop?
I can't remember the guy's name. DeVries. I'm not sure what position. Let me know in chat. Yeah, the Red Sox trading for Dustin May was one of the dumbest things I saw as well, too. He's not controlled. I think he's a free agent after the season. Trading away, I think, a first rounder. And Dustin May has also thrown more pitches this year, more innings this year than he has in his entire career. He was probably going to be shuffling to the bullpen for the Dodgers. I don't understand that trade at all. It's not like a big deal, but it didn't make any sense to me.
I will say this about the San Diego trade, like getting O'Hearn and Laureano for the back end of that order where they've kind of had issues pretty much all season, I think makes for a very good move. If they're going to play 5-inning games, whatever, they want to get the game to their bullpen, and I don't mind that move. It's trading away a top prospect, though, after we've seen with Gore and Soto and what they turned into. Kind of makes me a little skittish if I'm a Padres fan, but I don't know. I don't hate the move if they're going to if they're going for it.
Leo DeVries, I might be butchering his name, but that's the guy who's a top 5 prospect. He's just 18 and supposed to be, a certifiable stud. But, baseball stuff is a little bit more unpredictable when it comes to who's going to get there in a couple of years. but they are, they care about today and not necessarily 3 years from today. And I thought the Athletics did good because they're thinking about Vegas possibly, right? They don't care about right now and sell Miller when he's hot, and you don't know what the future holds for him. He is electric, but probably would bet on him not being this electric for the next 5 years, 10 years. But again, not rooting against him. Just the math might be against him. Correa is reunited with Houston, a straight-up salary dump. I don't know if you saw that. The guy on the other side was like a 27-year-old that plays in single A. It was a super clear salary dump, and Minnesota's also paying some of that salary too. So good for him. I guess that was the only place he was willing to go that I saw. I was surprised, though, Zuna didn't move for Atlanta. He might have had a no trade. Maybe he just wanted to stay, but that was kind of weird.
I was surprised Duran wasn't the one packaged to San Diego because that was pretty much – I thought that was what the Red Sox move was going to be.
Yeah, he survived. Luis Roberts, another guy. Somewhat surprisingly, I thought he was going to potentially move. He didn't move. Both Marlins, Sandy Alcantara didn't go anywhere. Sanchez left for the Marlins, but apparently the Marlins were asking for a lot, and, they didn't want to give him away for like 50, 60, 70 cents on the dollar. I think Spencer Jones was the guy they had their eye on, the Yankee prospect. Yankees were not willing to budge with him, but hopefully for the Marlins' sake, at least Sandy will get better. His value will get up there so they can trade him in the offseason and next year. Cabrera as well. They just were not willing to give away their pitchers. How about tonight, Bobby? How are you looking at tonight's 11-game slate? Some pretty good pitching up top. One of the better pitchers facing those Marlins. Logan Gilbert at home. He's been absolutely electric in Seattle. The K rate's been absurd. Great ballpark to pitch in. They say it's really hard to see the baseball in Seattle. I believe that's the ballpark that gives up the most strikeouts. The K rate is bigger in Seattle than anywhere else in baseball. As far as, I guess, the batter's eye is kind of tricky. Facing a Texas team, it's not terribly imposing. Gilbert, the biggest K rate on the slate, the lowest Sierra on the slate. Pretty clearly the most popular pitcher, as far as I can tell. You might want to put him in the same tier as like 3 or 4 other guys, but I think he's kind of in his own bucket. We'll talk about that. And then I like some of the, just like the noob. The noob doesn't know anything about baseball. Who are they going to play? Well, they're going to play the Yankees and the Dodgers, and that's kind of who I like tonight. We'll talk about it. But those two are my favorites. Two of my favorite teams this evening. We'll get into it.
But fading the Pirates, I would imagine.
I think so. My main lineup is going to be ideally no Pirates. I just can't take a franchise seriously when they're batting O'Neill Cruz 5th. Like, for multiple, there's a lot of reasons. But when he's batting 5th with these nobodies in front of him, for the lack of no insult to McCutchen, future Hall of Famer possibly, but he's in the back 9, maybe hole 17 or so. But Horwitz leading off, like, what are we doing? Gonzalez, it's insulting to O'Neill Cruz. And you wonder why this guy's gonna be leaving in a couple of years. Anyways, but yeah, Senzatella is somebody you want to pick on. You're locked in for 9, great ballpark, bad bullpen. So I get it. And if you're playing cash games, of course, you're playing a bunch of Pirates. But that's not the world I'm playing in tonight. I'm curious to get your take, the overview. How are you seeing things on the slate?
Yeah, pitching's loaded. Love Logan Gilbert up top. I think it's a great spot versus the Rangers at home, like you said. I would argue that they've had a pretty good pitching staff for the last 2-3 years, so that's probably why the strikeouts are so high, but it is that ballpark definitely.
Chicken and the egg.
What'd you say?
It's chicken and the egg? Like, I'm sure it's a combination of the two, probably. You're right. Yeah. I don't know which is more important, but like maybe it's a combination of both.
Maybe a combination of both, Dean.
Yeah.
Second for me would be Rodon versus the Marlins. Just think the Marlins are the Marlins, and they're an easy team to target. Don't mind Rodon. Don't mind the Yankees. Like you, I like the Yankees and the Dodgers as well. So,
oh wow,
pretty much correlating Rodon with the Yankees. I don't hate it. From there, Hunter Brown versus the Red Sox. Hunter Brown's just been pretty much dominant all year. K rate super high. I know this Red Sox team has been better of late. but it's good pitching, and it's the Red Sox, and they'll let you down. So I don't mind Hunter Brown, Joe Ryan, and Pivetta. Those would be the two that kind of fall off for me. Guardians, I just don't like playing pitchers against because they can hit the ball, and the same with the Cardinals. I don't know if the strikeouts will really be there for Pivetta versus the Cardinals at that price tag, so probably not getting much to him. But if I had to choose between the two, it'd be Joe Ryan, but I'm probably just going to play heavy Gilbert, Rodon, and Hunter Brown, and then pretty much move down to the mid-tier. Don't hate Kevin Gausman. The Royals have not been striking out, though. He'd probably be my favorite in the mid-tier, followed by David Peterson versus the Giants. Don't mind Robbie Ray. Gavin Williams could be thrown in the mix there. I'm playing 12 pitchers, so I don't know. I'm probably getting a little sprinkle of like these lower mid-tier guys, and then these guys in like the lower range of salary, whether it be Jacob Lopez, Jack Leiter, or Tyler Anderson. So it's kind of where I'm at. I don't think I'm playing Jansen Junk. I get it. I'm just really bullish on the Yankees tonight.
So you're rostering 12 of the 22. How many lineups? Are we going 150 tonight, Bobby?
We'll go 150, yeah.
Okay, yeah, interesting. To your point, by the way, Kansas City, this lineup they're rolling out today, super contact heavy, 16.4% striking out this season. Collectively versus righties, I'm
probably going to have at least one of these top-end arms on every one of my teams, though. That's the rule I'm making. So,
okay. So when you say top-end arm,
Gilbert, Brown, and Rodon.
Okay, yeah, that's yeah. I was wondering if like Pivetta was in that conversation, maybe. I think Gilbert is kind of his own.
I don't love the matchup versus the Cardinals. I don't know if you see it differently.
It's fine, right? Do we have a St. Louis lineup? Not just yet, no. Arenado went on the IL today, so we're expecting Gorman to jump in there. Jordan Walker's given up a lot of strikeouts, been terrible as far as power this year as well. The prospect just has not quite come to fruition. Pajes is another guy that's a weak bat. The back end looks really good if this is the actual lineup, but they're pretty contact heavy up top with Burleson and Donovan. In the case for Pivetta, pretty good. The splits, they really don't exist when it comes to strikeouts this year. 27% basically from both sides. I like him a little bit, but I do agree that he's behind. Somebody behind Gilbert, behind Rodon. By the way, friends and family game for Carlos Rodon. He's born in Miami, so you got to imagine there are some there. I'm assuming that. I haven't seen anybody say anything about it, and I feel like he has a good history.
You would put Pivetta ahead of Hunter Brown?
You know what? I did rankings today, and I think it's really close. I'm going to pull up and see what I have amongst those two. Gilbert, Rodon. I actually have somebody we didn't talk about yet in the third spot. Mostly salary, but also opponent. We don't really know. Are there 9 available Twins to play baseball today? You saw the Twins just traded away a good chunk of their team, and of course Buxton's on the IL as well. So it's going to be a hodgepodge. But yeah, so I don't like that he's going to be somewhat popular. I think he's going to be somewhat popular. Yeah, we got him at 26% on DK. And if you watch him pitch, he's one of those guys that just sort of feels like he's pitching against himself. Like he can be awesome against, good hitters, and he can be bad against bad hitters. And that's just sort of my little observation from watching him pitch. But I wish he was a little bit less alone, but this is just kind of what we're dealing with, I suppose. As a salary saver, though, he's on the board. Joe Ryan did survive the trade deadline. There was rumors of him potentially getting moved. Supposedly, your Red Sox are making a move for Joe Ryan. That was the word in the street, but I guess they did not offer enough. So he's Will Smith in the living room looking around, looking for where his teammates are. Most of them, a lot of them, are gone. Let me see where I had Hunter Brown. You asked me about Brown. I had Pivetta ahead of Brown. I think it's just because of salary. Yeah, he's $1K cheaper. That's the reason why, but I'm not going to fight you on it. I think you're basically the same, very similar. Gausman and then Jacob Lopez I have just because, again, salary. Against Arizona, losing Gino is kind of a big deal there for the D-backs makes that lineup a little bit more vulnerable. You mentioned Robbie Ray. If you still believe in the Robbie Ray role is still a thing, he's probably not going to get heavily owned. Good ballpark, but tough lineup facing the Mets today. They did trade for Mullins. Mullins did not crack the lineup. I presume he's available. I presume he's in the dugout, but not starting versus the lefty in Robbie Ray. Who else survives? Oh, Stephen Kwan is another guy who was supposedly going to be available. He's also still on Cleveland. Cooper Criswell is drawing the start there for your Red Sox. Houston does get Jeremy Pena back. Jeremy Pena's back from the IL. Their lineup does look better. Pena's back, and Jesus Sanchez joined the team. So the Astros do look a little bit better. Cam Smith now batting 8th. Dropped all the way down to the 8-hole with Pena being back and Sanchez added to the team. All right, let's run down some other pitchers. You mentioned Junk. I'm not in on Junk either, and he gives up so much hard contact. His average exit velocity is 7th in the league when you compare him versus, I think, 260 other guys. I know, like, the numbers have been good and, like, the ERA has been good, but I'm not a believer in every Yankee in the plate IQ, at least earlier today. I assume that's still the case. Every Yankee was off the charts, or at least in the green, for hard hits. Yes, that is correct. It sustains. Got a couple of revenge games here too, Bobby. Remember Giancarlo Stanton and Jazz Chisholm, former Marlins. Somebody in chat probably did mention the other side of that. Agustin Ramirez, revenge game for him as well. Very vengeful. Maybe he's not. I'm not sure. I guess we shall see against Carlos Rodon.
He might be.
You think so?
Who wants to get traded to the Marlins?
I mean, there's a certain amount of anonymity to it, which is I think some players appreciate. You can just kind of walk the streets and nobody really knows who you are, as opposed to getting mobbed in other places, I suppose. But I think some players probably like that. I know the hockey guys like that down here. They keep winning championships and still nobody really recognizes the guys. As opposed to if you play in Toronto or something like that, everywhere you go, it's a whole scene. For hockey, I'm talking about, obviously.
You mentioned Stanton and Chisholm in terms of hard contact, like they're right up there. Yeah. So if you do want to play the revenge narrative, they're very good plays. I wouldn't. Dean's more of a revenge guy than me, but yeah.
More revenge. I don't know if I consider myself a revenge guy per se, but it's just something that we. I don't have like revenge power rankings.
I've seen your Twitter.
I've done revenge power rankings before.
I know you're a burner too. So,
what's my burner? I got a burner account?
So I heard.
I don't have a burner account. I never really thought to. Yeah, I love. My favorite is like when people like try to they're on their burner. They think they're on the burner and they start talking to their real account, and it's like they're talking to themselves. They get caught in the burner. I always enjoy that.
I haven't seen that.
You see, people forget to switch over, and then they I love what you did on this. You're amazing, and just trying to hype up their own. You've never seen people do this before?
No,
it's a thing.
Is it a tout thing?
Probably, but just among it's all different things. I think Kevin Durant got caught once. I'm pretty sure. I feel like he did.
Oh yeah, I think he did too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just I guess it's tricky keeping track of all
Twitter fingers get you in trouble. Those Twitter fingers.
Make sure to double and triple check before you hit send, I suppose. All right, let's kind of work our way to. I want to get the 12 pitchers. Let's knock out the 12 pitchers. Who was on your board? Are you going to be able to field them, Gilbert? Are you taking a positive stand on that?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I think he's easily the best pitching play on the slate. So yeah, I'm there on Gilbert. Rodon, I think, is my second favorite. I think you like Pivetta third. Actually, you said you like Gavin Williams third.
Salary considered, but yeah.
Salary considered. I think Hunter Brown is 3 for me, and then Gavin would be 4. I think that's how I'd approach it.
I think we have pretty good pitching weather in Boston today, right? Am I right to say that? I'm pulling up Weather Edge. Yeah, 133 previous games. 69 is the temp. We got 5 miles per hour.
Good temp.
The wind's blowing in about 5 miles per hour from center field. In that scenario, 133 games, pretty big sample size. Home runs have taken a hit at 10%. Runs have taken a hit at 4.7%. So it's like a pretty good environment for throwing baseballs there. So I do like Brown. I just don't know if I like Rodon a little bit better. As far as this Boston lineup, 21.2% when it comes to striking out. Story, Navarez, and Abreu, the big strikeout guys. Otherwise, everybody else happens to be in the green. Hunter Brown, 33% Ks this year versus lefties. I think we have a lot of lefties here, right? Anthony and Duran and Toro and Yoshida, as well as Abreu. Yeah. If you want to put Brown second or third, you want to put him third, I'm not going to argue with it. Perfectly fine. I want to get to your 12. You mentioned Gausman. I guess you kind of ran him down earlier as well. The other names, I'm trying to think who's the cheapest you're willing to roster. Is it Lopez?
It would be junk, but I'm not playing him. It might be Tyler Anderson versus the White Sox, just because they're the White Sox, and Tyler Anderson has shown the ability at points this year to be okay. So, yeah.
Okay. I didn't consider Tyler Anderson, but it's just mostly because he's facing the White Sox, I imagine, is the big selling point.
Yeah. You had Lopez?
I think Lopez is the cheapest I'm willing to go. He's a little bit more than Tyler Anderson, 7K on DK. I probably wouldn't play him on FanDuel. He's 8-2 over there.
You're not willing to go to Leiter in Seattle? Like, he has the same ballpark as Gilbert, right?
He does. It just doesn't really seem very necessary in the Seattle lineup. Just the addition of Naylor, the addition of Gino, it just looks so much better. I mean, it looks so much better. Crawford now, hitting 8th as opposed to leading off. They're leading off of Randy, Big Dumper, J-Rod, Naylor, Suarez. That first 5 is really good. And Leiter's just not great. The Ks are meh. 21% in the season. Pretty good at suppressing power. Certainly better than he was last year. It's just not necessary. It's just sort of like my approach.
You're playing 3 teams.
What do you mean?
Like, if you were playing 150, you'd probably consider it more, I would imagine.
I gotcha. Maybe. What is his ownership? Is it less than 5%? Let's see. We have him at 5, around 5%.
5%, yeah.
Yeah. I would play him before Kershaw. I would play him before Baz. I would play him before Heaney and Junk. Smith is probably not going to go that deep. Disco Stu is a no. Disco Flani. I wouldn't go with Chris Well, so I'll play him over those guys. By the way, the first clue for Film Friday, it is scrolling. I never really announced it. I saw Steve dropped it. My apologies. It is scrolling right now on the screen. The first clue for Film Friday, tell me what film I'm talking about. In the Discord channel, that's rotogrinders.com/Discord, live stream chat channel. Be the first to do so. You get yourself a week free of RJ Premium. The first clue was call. I don't think anybody guessed it.
Scream.
You know it?
Scream.
Well, I mean, what if it was Scream, Bobby? You just ruined the game. You feel okay about that?
It's okay.
Which Scream, though? You got to tell me which one.
Scream 2.
Why would it be Scream 2 as opposed to not Scream 1, the original?
Scream 1. It could be Scream 1. I'm a big Scary Movie 2 guy.
Okay, so not Scary Movie, the original, Scary Movie 2.
Yeah. So I went Scream. Because it's kind of Scream.
I know the Keenan and I were. I'm trying to think who was the main. Was that the one with Shaq or Charlie Sheen? Which one was he in? I don't remember the Scary Movies that well, but I know Shaq was in one. Charlie Sheen was in one when he was a thing.
Scary Movie 2 is the guy with the hand.
Oh yeah, take my strong hand. Yeah,
strong hand.
yeah. There you go, Chris Elliott. We'll go ahead and drop the second clue for the people. It is not Taken or Friday Night Lights or Phone Booth, the Colin Farrell movie, The Matrix or Casino. The second clue, so we're a little bit behind. The second clue is Bus. So it's call and it's bust. Was there a bus in Scream?
No. So it's speed 2.
It's definitely speed 2, which was on a cruise ship.
Speed. It's speed. It's speed. Which one? It was speed 1. Speed 1.
Speed 2, by the way. Do not
Kirkland,
recommend.
very good guess in chat. Would you read it, Dean?
It is not. You know what? It's not Brokeback Mountain for the 78th time. One of these days, though, it's going to be Brokeback Mountain, and it's completely going to ruin the game. All right, the 12 pitchers that you were referencing, I think you kind of mostly hit on all of them to some degree.
What do you mean to some degree? Who are you playing that I'm not playing here? Well, who would you play in 150 that I'm not playing?
I would play Gilbert. I would play Williams. I would play Rodon. Pavetta, Brown. Robbie Ray's a little tricky, but I guess there's some upside there. I don't think the discount is enough when you consider his recent form and just kind of a tough matchup as well. He's just been bad, for a while now. It seems like he had that big start against Arizona, pretty big start, but it's not been great. It's been a while since we've seen ceiling game Robbie Ray. I don't think we get it tonight. Maybe we do. I just don't think he's cheap enough. He should just be cheaper. Is this sort of my point? Did you have an official Grant Williams take, by the way, against Minnesota? Do we have an?
I think Gavin Williams would be my 4th pitcher in. I know he's your 3rd.
Did I say Grant? Gavin Williams.
You said Grant, yeah. You must have
basketball
Grant on your mind. Probably looking at his home run picks for the day on Twitter.
Yeah. Austin Martin is leading off for the Twins, by the way. He stuck around. Alan Rodin, Ryan Jeffers, Cody Clemens, Royce Lewis. This is a weird team. Matt Wallner, Brooks Lee still around, Christian Vasquez, and we haven't seen Edouard Julien in a while. Julien is back. I think
I would not like Gavin Williams or Pavetta together.
Why? You think that's too chalky?
I think it gets very chalky, yeah. Especially if you're fading the Pirates.
Well, what about Gilbert and Williams? Because Gilbert's gonna be more popular than Pavetta.
But I think Pavetta has more of a chance to bust. I would be very surprised tonight if Cooper Criswell and the Red Sox came out and beat Hunter Brown.
Yeah, I like Brown too. You're talking me into Brown a little bit more. I still think I have Rodon ahead of him. Yeah. But yeah, I'm only making 3 lineups. So my pitching pool is going to be Gilbert, Rodon, Williams, maybe Pavetta, maybe Brown, possibly Lopez, and that's probably it. I'm not going to play Gausman in my 3 lineups. I'm okay with Ryan, but probably not Ryan. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to roster 2 of those guys in my few lineups or so. But if you're running 150, by all means, extend the pool like you're talking about. Did you have David Peterson in it?
He's in it. He's in it versus San Francisco at 8,300. Yep.
Yeah.
The majority. I'm making a group at least 3: Gilbert, Rodon, Brown, for sure.
One of those 3 in every line.
I could throw Gavin Williams in there. Yeah. I will say this. Someone asked who in cash. It's pretty obvious. It's Gilbert and Gavin Williams in cash games.
I think that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. I'm not going to run some quote unquote optimal stuff and see what pops up, but I would imagine that's what makes sense to me. Definitely Gilbert. And if you have the salary, you reach up and grab one of the other, big 3 you're talking about, but you might want to get an extra bat or 2. You might want to get Cruz in your cash lineup. Let's see, on DK, Gilbert came in 67% of my lineups, Williams 46, Pavetta 42, which is kind of interesting. I added some variance, but yeah, that's what I'm seeing. But yeah, Gilbert and Williams is probably the pairing. If you have salary, get one of Rodon, Pavetta, or Brown as well. Anything else we want to stress as far as pitchers? Any big stands? Any big stands are going the other way? Somebody's going to get like 10, 15%, and you're just Xing out and saying no, thank you?
I'm going to be under on Pavetta.
Interesting. Why Pavetta?
Because he's 9,500, and he's going to be the first guy after Williams that people put in with Gilbert. And I just think one of these two are likely going to bust. Yeah, so that's pretty much my reasoning. And then like every build is going to be like fading Pittsburgh, and I don't love to play Pittsburgh tonight. So I think one of these two, between Pivetta and Williams, you have to make a stand on. I like Williams more. So
did we get a Pittsburgh lineup yet? I don't see one. Nope, not just yet. Aranda is hitting the IL. I believe he was hit by a pitch yesterday, so he might not have started today against the lefty either. Anyways, but
he's been one of my favorite players all year. That's unfortunate.
He's been awesome versus righties for sure. And we'll talk about stacks. And then I don't like Tampa when they open up against the lefty because there's so much vulnerability to pinch hit stuff, depending on how their lineup rolls out. If they start their good lefties, then it's less risky. But there's one of their good lefties right there. It's not starting, so let's kind of keep an eye on that. No lineup just yet. They're probably waiting for Aranda, but it seemed like it was pretty clear that he was not going to be in the lineup today.
Nope. Asked if I guessed speed yet, and I have guessed speed.
Well, thank you for catching up, Broccoli Boy. He could have just hit rewind and go 1.5 speed. He could have done that, right? That's one way to get away with that. But it turns out it's not. Well, has anybody officially guessed speed? I don't know. You don't know the answer. I don't believe it's speed. No, somebody did guess speed. It's not speed.
One day I'll ruin this game.
We all have goals. All right. Anything else you want to say as far as pitchers before I move on and talk about the sticks, the bats?
Like I said, at least one Gilbert, Rodon, Brown, and maybe throw Gavin Williams in there if you're playing a lot of teams. I think those four are the guys that stand out the most.
Do you want to mention before we talk about our stacks here in a second? We're going to be ranking all 22 teams, 11 games. By the way, I did mention before. Did I mention the weather is pretty clean tonight? I see no issues. Somebody go ahead and pull up Ross weather report and see if anything's changed. Yellow, green in Colorado, green, yellow in Tampa. It's green for the Mets. It's green for the Cubs. That game, I believe, already happened. Let's go ahead and drop this in chat as well. Hey, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. You guys are hanging out there in chat. We'd appreciate that. Help us keep the lights on. You turn on notifications so you know when we're doing our football shows, which are right around the corner, Bobby. And we have some football content we're going to talk about. Fantasy Labs. It is your home for season-long fantasy football as well as best ball content. Man, the ADPs are forever changing with all the injury news coming in. Oh, I was looking at some of my ownership stuff today, Bobby. It's tilting. It's tilting. DeJuan Jennings, kind of an injury fallback for him. Got too much of him in San Francisco. But you can get yourself access to rankings, projections, articles. The award-winning experts, Sean Corner, Chris Raybon, they got you covered here in Fantasy Labs. They now have an app that allows you to get real-time rankings, draft cheat sheets, and lineup advice on the go. Sign up now. We have a nice promo code for you, $15 off. Use the promo code RG15. That's RG15 for Fantasy Labs, helping you out there with your season-long fantasy as well as best ball content.
How many teams do you have you done in best ball?
I mean, on drafters, I've done like 40, 45, somewhere around there. And on DraftKings, probably around 50. And on Underdog, maybe 5, 10, maybe 10 over there. Yeah, so we're getting them in there. But I'm slowly starting to think that drafting later is better. Like you get these great values sometimes. You also get stuck with like 2 players that might never play that you wouldn't have drafted, a week before the season starts because you have the information that they're not playing football, which is kind of a problem. So I don't know. I'm not the guy to ask for that, but I think there's an edge in waiting. But also, like the ADP stuff gets more refined the closer you get to lock. How about yourself, Bobby?
86 teams, Dean.
What? On DK, on Underdog? Where at?
On DK, I would never play on Underdog.
Well, it's a good thing you're not a sponsor of the show.
Oh, why? The Underdog sponsors the show? I love Underdog.
No, they're not. They're not. I'm saying it's a good thing that they're not a sponsor.
No, just everyone on Underdog's very good, right?
I would guess, I don't know this for certain, but I would guess that it's probably a little bit looser on DK.
Yeah, it seems a little looser on DK. So
But I think people stay in their lanes more underdog as well. So like you're going to get the random person that like picks your quarterback, even though they have nothing that connects to that person, even though it's 10 spots ahead of ADP, just because they like that guy. That'll happen more on DK. I don't know.
Yeah, I used to be Bobby Best Ball, but I had the worst
retired?
you could possibly have. So yeah.
Do you want to give the people one best ball take? What's like your most drafted player? Do you have someone that's like 60%, 70%? You're taking a big stand?
You're gonna hate my most drafted player, Dean.
What position?
It was Rashee Rice. We'll just say that.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
It was in stacks though, so
yeah.
I stack everything. I'm a big stacker when it comes to best ball now.
Yeah.
Kirk has the best ball take in chat. I think we should listen to it.
Okay, well, what is it? He just types in, I have a best ball take. And that's it? Okay. Feel free to share it if you want. Anybody feel free to share. Don't draft the guys who get injured. That is a good take. And I've done that.
Or suspended.
Yeah. Yeah, suspensions are coming out. Just as long as they're the game.
Can you put someone first on the show for best ball? Like which running back's getting hurt? Say, who's the guy in Buffalo?
Cook?
Cook, yeah.
You're saying he's getting hurt?
I want you to mush someone.
Well, I don't want to do that. I'm not wishing
him. He's going to have a fantastic year, and he'll be injury-free, and I'm sure he'll break his leg second week of the preseason.
I was looking at my stuff today, and I think Algier, I think it's one of the most popular picks, the backup there for Atlanta, the backup. Yeah, I got a big stance on him. But all right, let's move on. Let's talk about our stacks. Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Today's topic is, as far as our tiers, athletes. And Bobby, this is where you can tell me your answer. Athletes that wear goggles. Goggled athletes. Best athletes that wear goggles. Athletes that wear goggles. First athlete that comes to mind is who?
The guy from Major League, Charlie Sheen.
I did not think of that, but that's a good answer. Chris Sabo in chat by a couple of people. Okay, Chris Sabo we haven't seen him like in 30 years, but sure, that's an answer. Yeah, the guy from Major. You're talking about Wild Thing.
Wild Thing, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's an answer. I didn't think of him. That's a good answer. Terrence is saying Eric Dickerson. That's what I saw. I saw that today on Twitter, and that's what kind of inspired me. Was Eric Dickerson. Goggled athletes. Amari Stoudemire was somebody I considered. Kareem. There you go. Kareem, of course, is number one. We'll be talking about here in a second. We'll reveal the board here, Bobby. Athletes that wear goggles. Let's go ahead and give the board a reveal. As we also drop the, I don't want to give Steve three things to do at once, but should probably drop that third clue for Film Friday as well. It's Assassin. So that'll be scrolling as well. You heard it verbally. Third clue is Assassin. Some athletes that wear goggles, pretty much every single swimmer was on the board, was available. I didn't want to put Michael Phelps at 2 because Michael Phelps, probably the greatest swimmer of all time. But I put Katie Ledecky, number 2, probably the best female swimmer of all time, I think. I'm not the swimming aficionado, but I think she's got the most records. So shout out to her. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, of course, number 1 with the goggles. I also realized that it's not a thing anymore. People don't wear it nearly as often. Like Olajuwon used to wear goggles.
It's called LASIK, Dean.
Yeah, but you still get raked to the eyes. You know, your eyes are still vulnerable. James Worthy, another goggled athlete. I do want to have, if Steve can pull it up, Aton Bolden. Is it Aton Bolden or Aton Bolden? I apologize if I'm mispronouncing his name. He's apparently a really good runner, a sprinter. He has the most incredible goggles. We can get a Google image of that. It's spectacular. Are you a sprinting guy? They were spectacular. I just didn't have a spot to put them on the board.
I don't know sprinting, Dean.
Oh,
you know women's swimming.
You've never look at these goggles. How amazing is that? What a great look.
Cool. He looks like the guy from Fifth Element, the Bruce Willis movie.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of maybe The Boys is what I'm thinking of, but Chris Tucker from Fifth Element?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie in years. I saw where he yells Kobe a lot in that movie. That's what he just keeps yelling. Kobe, Kobe, Kobe. That's all I remember about that movie. And Mila Jovovich is in it as well. Horace Grant, 4-time, 5-time. How many times did he win the championship with the Bulls? I don't recall. A lot. He wore some goggles. And then another old school guy. I didn't really know who to throw in the bottom, but Kurt Rambis. He didn't look great in the goggles, but he was also a champion with the Lakers. So that is our goggled athletes. Anybody I miss? The Freeze. Okay. Yeah. Lindsey Vaughn. Some other goggled athletes being thrown out there in the chat. Bill Cartwright? Did Bill Cartwright wear goggles? I don't think he did. Maybe I don't remember correctly. Maybe he did. Any events. All right, let's do it, Bobby. Let's go ahead and talk about the very first game. It is a 7:07 start because we're talking about Toronto. The Blue Jays are home. 7:07 starts. Kevin Gausman, Michael Wacha, some new additions here. Yastrzemski, the new addition for the Royals. And there's so many new in Kansas City. They got him at the last second there. Of course, Grichuk, they traded for a couple days ago. So Kansas City, just incremental increases. And their outfield was so terrible. So those guys are boosts. So whatever nonsense they had before. The Royals and the Blue Jays. They're saying Rip Hamilton. Rip Hamilton wore a mask that is different than goggles. He wore a mask, a full-on mask. It's a different list. Where do I throw the Blue Jays and the Royals?
Blue Jays, we can throw the Blue Jays and Eric Dickerson, and the Royals and Horace Grant. For the Blue Jays, I like Luperfido, Barger. I think Varsho. I think those guys stick out a good bit. And for Kansas City, Perez and Witt. Literally, that's all that I really have interest in. Blue Jays were in Eric Dickerson, Steve. I don't know if you're still playing video games.
He's doing a lot of things. He's spinning all the plates. Give him a break.
Ugh.
By the way, it turns out that the chat got me. I try to give him the business for mentioning Rip Hamilton, for wearing a mask and not goggles. Kurt Rambis wore glasses. He didn't wear goggles. So my bad. That's on me. You tell me who should be in the fifth hole, if not Kurt Rambis. That's my mistake. You have the Royals and Horace Grant and the Blue Jays and Dickerson. They also added, I knew there was somebody else. Ty France is new to the team for Toronto. And I feel like we haven't seen Varsho in a while as well. All right. And Kirk is not playing today either. We can move along here, Bobby. It's the Giants and the Mets. They're in New York. Robbie Ray, David Peterson, two pitchers that you said are in your pool. These lineups look pretty standard, even with the trade deadline having passed. Going to be a little bit different, I think, when they're facing righties, the Mets at least. But you tell me, how do you feel with the Giants, and the Mets?
The Mets could go in Dickerson. The Giants, not really interested in the Giants. Throw the Giants in Horace Grant as well. Mets, Pete Alonso, I think, stands out. Nimmo. Those are mainly the two that I like the most. Obviously, you could play Soto, lefty on lefty, but I don't know. More Alonso and Nimmo. And then for San Fran, really no one. I'm just not really interested in playing a ton of San Fran. Maybe Adames and Ramos.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind Chapman a little bit, but I'm probably not going to play much San Fran today. Just take that ballpark. I know they're used to it, but it's just hard to see this game completely blow up. Speaking of, did you see yesterday's game with Cincinnati and Atlanta? Both teams scored 8 runs in the 8th inning, that feels like how does that happen? But it was 11-3 and then 11-11 at the end of the 8th inning. Did you happen to catch this, Bobby?
I did not. I was in bed.
Oh, jeez. What time did you go to sleep last night?
Pretty early, Dean.
9:30? 9?
8:45, I think. I was in bed.
All right. What time did you wake up today? 5?
Yep. That's what happens when you have kids, Dean. Can't play video games all night.
Do the kids wake you up? You don't need there's no need for an alarm. They just
come in the room and they jump on you. It's a good thing. It's nice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move along. We'll drop that 4th clue, by the way. We have still no winner just yet in this Discord channel for Film Friday. The first 3 clues, they're scrolling. It's call, it's bus, assassin, Clue number 4, Bobby. This could change things.
I don't know how this movie cannot be Speed. Is it The Transporter?
What if it was The Transporter?
I'm trying to ruin the game, Dean. I want the free week of RotoGrinders.
If you let me know, I got you. I know a guy. I could juice you up if you want me to. You know what, Bobby? I can give you a month. You want a month? I got a month for you.
Oh, thank you. So nice of you.
No more than that, though. I'll cut you off after a month. I don't want to.
Someone said Eric Gagne. Eric Gagne should be on this list.
Eric Gagne is a good nomination. Oh,
I'm not saying Gagne would be the 2 hole, but.
Well, I mean, for a time there, he was in the 1 hole. He was amazing. But the 4th clue, Billy, it's scrolling. It is Bob. Bob is the 4th clue. Check out the Discord and see if we have any winners. Not just yet, but yeah, let's move on. And the
Dean,
third
thinking
game,
about me while he's making clues, I see.
Say it again.
You said you're thinking about me while you're making clues, Bob.
Oh yeah, well I forget. Yeah, this is. I'm trying to. There's a reason why I picked this movie because you're my co-host today, for sure. Okay, Minnesota and Cleveland. We talked about Minnesota having a weird looking lineup, bunch of new dudes. A lot of people shipped out. Buxton still in the IL. Gavin Williams looking like kind of a chalk du jour SP2. I don't love him as a chalk piece, but I can sort of get. I think I'm going to play some. I don't love it, but that's where we're at today. Yeah, Martin, Rodon, Jeffers, Clemens, Lewis, Wallner, Lee, Vasquez, the backup catcher, and then Julien is back for the Twins. Where do you want to throw Minnesota? And then Cleveland. Cleveland is better against righties, but Joe Ryan is a tough righty.
Yeah, he also gives up power to lefties, though. Minnesota is in Kurt Rambis. Not interested in Minnesota today. Like Gavin Williams. I think he'll be chalky, but I do like him. Cleveland, Jose Ramirez, Schneemann, Kwan. Cleveland, I'd put in Eric Dickerson. Probably higher than most people would have them. I think most people would have them in Horace Grant.
Because Ryan's a tough matchup?
Yep.
We do, by the way, we do have a winner in the Discord. Why is Steve playing crickets?
You're not. I feel like you're not on your game today, Dean. I don't know what it is.
I'm not on my game. You feel like I'm not on my game?
Seems that way.
Okay. Well, you know what? I have 25 minutes to rebound. By the way, so we do have a winner, and I don't want to call Steve out. I try to keep an eye on the Discord as well, but Gregorius the Wise is correct. However, Peterman 79 guessed it correctly beforehand, so that would be our true winner for today's Film Friday. We'll talk about it. Several people, by the way, guessed it in the YouTube, but they're not official guesses in YouTube. You're just getting reps in. That's just preseason. That's just Chargers Lions over there. Trey Lance doesn't count. No premium if you get it correct in the YouTube. We do appreciate you participating, but you're supposed to jump in the Discord to put in official guesses. All right, let's scoot along here. We'll get into why the movie is what it is soon enough. Houston's playing Boston. It's Cooper Criswell taking out Hunter Brown. You've already hyped up Hunter Brown a couple times throughout the show, so I imagine it's going to correlate. You're not going to like Boston so much. How do we like Houston today? Couple new pieces. Jeremy Pena's back, leading off here for the Astros, as well as Carlos Correa. Hello, old friend. And newly acquired Jesus Sanchez. So it's not a completely putrid lineup today for Houston. Where do you want to put the Astros and the Red Sox?
Astros, I'm going to put in Katie Ledecky, Dean. Pena, Altuve, Correa, get these righties in versus Cooper Criswell. Seems like that's where he's going to struggle, so don't mind them. Christian Walker, Cam Smith. Actually, Cam Smith stinks, so first right-handed pitching. But whatever. It's in Fenway, so I just like correlating them with Hunter Brown. Red Sox do profile well versus Hunter Brown, but it's going to be a tough matchup for the Red Sox tonight. I would put the Red Sox in Eric Dickerson. I'll put them in Horace Grant. Put the Red Sox in Horace Grant. They profile well, but I think it's Hunter Brown's going to win the battle. Bregman looks good. Duran, Anthony. I still don't think.
Bregman revenge game.
Yeah. Either way, I just think they're going to struggle versus Brown. Yeah. I know there's a bunch of guys that stand out, but I don't love it. Willie Bray is another guy profile as well, but yeah, I'm in on Hunter Brown over this Red Sox team.
I did see TJ hanging out in chat. He's upset. It is Spider-Man Day. It's like 10 other days. If you look at what day today is, it's Colorado Day. It's Homemade Pie Day. I don't know how you get a day, but like, Mary Prince Day. There's a whole bunch of days going on. National Planner Day. If you go to the National Day, whatever it is. But TJ's upset we did not do anything Spider-Man centric for today. My apologies, TJ. You know what? I feel like Spider-Man gets enough love though. And you know what? You're going to be on it a little bit. You can do something for Spider-Man. Maybe you'll do Spidey bombs, or maybe Spidey takes the day off for Spider-Man Day. I don't know. What do you think? Does Spider-Man work today, or is he taking the day off? We'll see. Typically,
he'll probably take the day off after Marvel came back with bringing Robert Downey Jr. to play that new villain. I think they dropped the ball there, but TJ will say otherwise.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but is this for a new movie coming out or something that's already been done?
No, he's playing. TJ will elaborate when he gets on, but he's playing like a villain. So he's being brought back after they killed off Iron Man. So
dude, spoilers, Bobby.
Everyone knows this. This isn't
now.
No, everyone knows this, Dean. It's like known.
Unbelievable. What is producer Steve showing us here? Something to the effect. Yeah, you got to get zoomed in there. Where is this from? Do you want to read what that says, Bobby?
I don't. So, like when this all happened, I actually got laughs out of these comments.
I don't know what this is. Is this something that just broke, or is this from years ago?
This is right from his family's website for their restaurant.
I didn't see that someone put this on the website. Someone was not like me, obviously.
It's on their website, bro. Isn't it your place?
Yeah.
Steve, send me the link. I got to see this after the show. I got to give it more attention when I can give it 100% of my attention while we're not doing a show. But I need to learn more about this Gomes guy that they're talking about. All right. This is, by the way, Bobby, this is the lesson we learn here is you don't.
This is what happens when you have someone that's not technical running your website. Or they just
well, you also don't make fun of the producer. Always be kind to everybody just because. But definitely be kind to Steve because he could make you look. He can have some fun.
I'm a big fan of Steve, Dean.
What's that?
I'm a big fan of Steve. He's actually, if I had to rank the two people that are currently on the show, he'd be 1A and you'd be 2B.
Why? So where are you? You're 2?
I don't know. It's just put people that aren't here ahead of you. Tim sometimes does shows with us.
Yeah, just honorary. Fair enough. I get it. The Yankees and the Marlins, 7.5 is the total. Jansen Junk throwing baseballs against the Yankees. Grisham, Dominguez, Bellinger, Stanton, Jazz, Goldie, McMahon, Volpe, and Wells. Pretty good lineup today, but a little bit bummed that Rice didn't crack it. I did want to play some Rice, but especially when he's catcher eligible. But he's not in there today. Rodon gets a friends and family game back to Miami against the Marlins team. I did lose Jesus Sanchez. There is Augustin Ramirez. Stowers also lurking left on left. Plenty of power, but he'll strike out too. I believe it's a pretty big K rate against lefties. Do you want to confirm this? No, actually, no, not so much. 17.9%. So my bad. But Augustin is what I was thinking of. He strikes out a fair bit versus lefties. Yankees, Marlins, what do you got?
Yankees, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't think it's really that close. I like the revenge today. Jazz and Stanton. Grisham isn't revenge, but I think all these Yankees really profile well. No Judge in the lineup. That kind of hurts, but I think they get the better of Junk. Junk, by the way, great name for a pitcher.
If you throw like 88 miles per hour, yeah.
Yeah. And then for Miami, I like Rodon a good bit. Stowers would be my favorite bat, but it's lefty on lefty. We can put Miami down in Kurt Rambis. Not really much there.
Okay.
As well is pretty good.
We got the Pirates. We'll talk about them soon enough. There's one game before we get there. It's the Dodgers in Tampa on the road. Ballpark bump here. Well, I shouldn't say ballpark. Their home ballpark's been pretty good too, in part because the Dodgers are hitting there, but they're locked in for 9 nonetheless. Shane Baz been pretty shaky last 30 days. Look at the last 30 days stuff. This Dodger team, their offense has been pretty bad as well, but you do have some cheap stuff here. Freeland is still super cheap. Conforto, Edman, Paja is pretty reasonable. Certainly you want to spend up for Ohtani if you have the salary to do so. Dodgers, Rays, that we do have a heavy right-handed lineup versus Kershaw, but they did start Brandon Lau. So both Laus actually cracked the lineup, and I think 7 lefties. Dodgers, Rays, where are they going on the board?
Dodgers immediately. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shohei, Freeman, Paez. These guys all look really good. Will Smith. Like the Dodgers a good bit. In terms of the Rays versus Kershaw, I don't think Aranda would have played today. I think you're right. Caminero, I think, looks great. Yandy, DeLuca. If I had to pick the Rays and where to put them, probably putting them in it's going to be Dickerson or Katie Ledecky. Dean, you choose. I know you know the best.
You're talking about the Dodgers or the Rays?
The Rays.
I would say Dickerson.
Dickerson.
Yeah.
Lean Dickerson.
Yeah. Don't mind them. They're certainly in play. And Kershaw, just not what he once was, obviously. Did get the Pirates. Their lineup is as follows: Horwitz, McCutchen, Reynolds, Gonzalez, Cruz, Tommy Pham, Joey Bart, Triolo, and IKF in the 9-hole, taking on Colorado. These are the 2 teams with the 2 biggest team totals. I believe nobody's Colorado's second, with Freeman, Tovar, Goodman, Beck, Warming, Burnable, Estrada, Doyle, Farmer, and Mickey Moniak left on left in the 9-hole. Pirates and Rockies, 12 total, big board, with Andrew Heaney and Senzatella throwing baseball. So 2 shaky pitchers, 2 shaky offenses. Where do you want to throw these teams?
Put them both in Katie Ledecky. I think a lot of people are going to be trying to fade Pirates tonight, so maybe going the other way is interesting, but I still think I'm probably not going to be on the Pirates. O'Neill Cruz is my favorite bat. Everyone else, not really interested in. You hit on the top of the show: Spencer Horwitz, McCutchen, Reynolds, and Nick Gonzalez, all ahead of O'Neill Cruz in the 5-hole. Doesn't make any sense. In terms of Colorado, Beck, Goodman, Doyle, I think those guys are fine. Tovar versus Haney, but yeah, that's pretty much Pittsburgh and Colorado for me, Dean.
All right, TJ is telling me that I was not paying attention. I did not see TJ and Spidey dropping a Spidey bomb. I guess there's one that was dropped here in chat. I imagine those will be reiterated soon enough. My apology, TJ. I'm also multitasking and doing it, so I can't monitor chat fully, 100% my attention.
Did you see what was posted by Steve just recently?
What's that?
Something about a junk. I don't know.
Jansen junk? Oh, he's seen Jason. I don't know who's Jason.
I have no idea.
I'm not sure who Jason is, but okay. Congratulations. White Sox, Angels, Tyler Anderson, Shane Smith. This is a tough one because I know Dave, he'll be on here in a little bit. He liked the Angels in his article today. Shane's been pretty good against righties. Now, I don't know how deep he's going to go. I think we had him projected for about 60 pitches or so. He's not fully stretched out, so that bullpen's certainly vulnerable. But I'm a little bit afraid of not having enough Angels. I'm curious where you're going to put them. I know as a salary saver that Luis Robert looks pretty good here against Tyler Anderson. I'm not sure if you're going to fully stack Chicago. The catchers are still pretty cheap depending on who grabs that spot for the White Sox. And Vargas is still probably a little bit too cheap as well. But Mini is the most I'll go, possibly as a one-off to make things work for the White Sox with the few lineups I make. But how about yourself? Angels against the White Sox.
Angels for me are in Katie Ledecky. I like Neto. I like Trout. I like Ward. Moncada's fine there at the back end. Ohape. I think that they're perfectly okay. In terms of Chicago White Sox, Robert Benintendi, I'd put the White Sox and Horace Grant versus Tyler Anderson. I think that Tyler Anderson could actually pitch okay here. So, yeah, like the Angels, and I'll probably have a little bit of sprinkle of Tyler Anderson. Hopefully, they'll be correlated a little bit.
Being told it's a Moncada revenge game.
Yeah, Moncada. I like Moncada in the 6 hole there.
Yeah.
You against Moncada, Dean?
He's fine. Producer Steve wants to know why we're still doubting the White Sox. I mean, I'm not saying you can't play.
They're literally averaging 7 runs a game since All-Star break.
What is that? Like 10 games? How many games is that?
It's not actually 7, but it's not actually 10 games. It's more.
So you said literally.
They're good. The White Sox are the best team in baseball right now.
No, stop it.
Sweep your Mets versus Tyler Anderson.
They've beaten up so many better pitchers already. Tyler Anderson's garbage, but okay.
Okay. I mean, so just bet the team total for the White Sox. I guess we'll see what their lineup is. I don't think it's cracked just yet. I'm trying to see if we have a new lineup. I don't think so. Officially, Shane Smith was activated from the IL, so that means probably their lineup is coming out soon. We just got the D-backs, Marte, Carroll, Perdomo, Gurriel, Locklear for Arizona, a potential cheapie tonight, Alexander, Barossa, Thomas, and Herrera. That is your Arizona lineup. We have a few more games. The 5th clue for Film Friday, we already got a winner, but we'll play it out. The 5th clue is 0, Bobby. Call, Bus, Assassin, Bob, and 0. Keep in that like button. We'll get more Spidey Bombs here on Spider-Man Day. 3 more games to go. We did get St. Louis's lineup. St. Louis taking on the Padres. Pavetta, Liberatore. It's Donovan, Herrera, Burleson, Contreras, Wynn, Gorman, Walker, Pozo, and Scott taking on San Diego. San Diego, the minus 205 favorite, big boy favorite here with Pavetta on the mound. Where do you want to throw the Padres and the Cardinals? None of their new hitters. Oh, Laureano is in the lineup. He's batting in the 6 hole, so that is something that's new.
I think it's interesting. I'm just reading chat. I think it's interesting everyone wants me to play the White Sox, but remember, guys, this is my board, right? So
it's my board.
Watching Horace Grant, I don't care what they did yesterday. I don't care what they did the day before yesterday.
Today.
What they're going to do for me today. And tonight they're going to stink. So Horace Grant for the White Sox. I don't care who has them ranked high. Let me see. Everyone ranking they're great against lefties. Yep, blah, blah, blah. I like the Angels, and I don't like the White Sox. So that's pretty much how I'm approaching it. What was the game we're on, Dean?
The game that I set up for you was St. Louis and San Diego.
Oh, okay. Great. In terms of St. Louis and San Diego, I like this new San Diego lineup. I don't love them tonight in St. Louis. St. Louis isn't the best hitting ballpark. Put San Diego in. Let's put them in Dickerson. I don't love San Diego. In terms of the Cardinals can go right in. What's Dean's Horace Grant? Horace Grant looks good. Burleson, don't mind him. Gorman, the lefties versus Pavetta. For San Diego, Machado, Laureano, I don't mind. That's really about it. Maybe some Tatis, obviously. Tatis doesn't profile great, though. But, yeah, that would be San Diego for me.
Yeah, it's a weird thing with Tatis against lefties. And I think it's even dating back to last year where he's just not that great. This year, 120 at bats, 100 ISO, which is just terrible. It's barely ahead of Luis Arraez. Like Luis Arraez is a 90 ISO versus lefties, and he, you don't think of him as having much power. That's really, really bad. And I think last season, 103 last season. Why is he so terrible versus lefties? I don't know, but he's just been bad versus them. There's the mush you want. Now Tatis can hit a couple homers and you can throw it right back in my face just for reading some numbers. Arizona is in Sacramento. It's Jacob Lopez taking on Anthony Disclafani, Disco Stew. The Athletics have a team total above 5. Disclafani probably throws 65 pitches or so, not fully stretched out. You're not rostering him. Anyway, we talked about the Arizona lineup. No Suarez, of course, going forward. The Athletics, some injuries they're dealing with. Butler, Kurtz, Rooker, Langoliers, Soderstrom. First 5 really good. That falls off a bit. Urshela, Cortez, Urias, and Hernandez. Where do you want to throw Arizona and the Athletics on this board?
Athletics for me, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like Butler. Really like Kurtz. Really like Soderstrom. Rooker and Langoliers are fine. It does fall off pretty significantly. Let's not put them in Kareem. Let's put them in Katie Ledecky. In terms of Arizona, versus Jacob Lopez, Ketel Marte is really the one that stands out the most. I'd probably put Arizona in Eric Dickerson.
All right smack in the middle. It's a bummer we don't have we have 2 more teams to throw on the board, but right now, symmetrically, Bobby, this board you built is pretty beautiful. I don't know if you want to be afraid to mess it up, but we're going to throw these teams accordingly, where the proper tier they land. Also, Bobby, think of some Bobby bombs. After I give the old recap, people are going to want some Bobby homers. If you're joining us now, crunch time about 5 minutes or so. We have beer and cheese. TJ Zwarych will be holding it down. But I'll recap the board. This is athletes who wear goggles. Athletes who wear goggles. That is today's category. Last game, Texas, Seattle. No Texas lineup just
Broccoli
yet.
Boy, I reserve the right to change my mind, okay? I reserve the right to change my mind. Remember, Broccoli Boy, this is my board.
He's just going to – all right. Logan Gilbert, most popular pitcher on the slate for sure. I think for good reason. Biggest K rate, lowest Sierra. Just incredible here at home where he thrives in this a ballpark where, the numbers say that strikeouts are more prevalent there. I suppose it's kind of a wonky batter's eye. That's what makes sense to me, at least. We do have that Seattle lineup with Suarez in it, Naylor reunited, and that's what makes that Seattle lineup look really, really strong, at least, especially the first 5. Again, no Texas just yet, but their team total barely scrapes 3, taking on Logan Gilbert's. Bobby, it is your boards. You get to place the Rangers and the Mariners wherever you'd like. Where do you want to put them?
Yeah, the Mariners for me they profile really well. It isn't the greatest hitting ballpark. I'm going to put the Mariners in Eric Dickerson, keep the largest, the middle, the longest. Cal Raleigh, Suarez. Don't love J-Rod. I think Naylor's fine there in the middle. Canzone on the back end looks good. Texas is going in Kurt Rambis because Logan Gilbert's going to shove tonight. He's the highest owned pitcher on the slate for a reason. If I had to pick a Texas bat, it'd probably be Seager. That's literally all I have for Texas.
All righty, let me give the board a recap. Again, Bobby, think of those Bobby bombs. We got Crunch Time coming in here momentarily. Tier 1, the least popular of the tiers. Just 2 teams hanging out with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's the Yankees and the Dodgers. Katie Ledecky, Tier 2. That's Houston, Pittsburgh, Colorado, the Angels, and the Athletics. Eric Dickerson in Tier 3. That's Toronto, the Mets, Tampa, Cleveland, San Diego, Arizona, Seattle. We got Horace Grant in Tier number 4. It's Kansas City, San Fran, Boston, Chicago. That's the White Sox. As well as, now the chat doesn't like that. But again, it's Bobby's board. It's Bobby's world. I'm just reading it. St. Louis also joining Horace Grant. The last teams, whatever is left of the Twins, the Marlins, Texas, they're all hanging out with Kurt Rambis. And I've already taken the L. He wears glasses. He does not wear goggles. So my bad. Movie recap, and we'll get those Bobby bombs in just a second. The 5 clues, Bobby. You tried to ruin the game. You were not successful at it. Shout out to Hoosier Sang Banners who correctly guessed what movie I was on, I think in 3 guesses. First reference was Call. The lead actor in this movie is better known for a different character. Better Call Saul. Bob Odenkirk. He's better known for playing Saul Goodman, but Call, that was a reference to. Bus is a very famous, I guess you remember this movie, one of the more memorable scenes, a memorable fight scene on a bus. This person happens to be a former assassin. Bob Odenkirk was a former assassin. That's what he played here in this movie. And I just gave you the lead actor's name in the fourth clue. It's Bob. Just told you the guy's name's Bob. And if you say somebody is a 0, Bobby, if you say that person's a 0, You're also kind of sort of somewhat saying that person is a
loser,
a nobody. Have you seen Nobody? Are you aware of Nobody?
No, I'm not.
It's got a little John Wick in it. It's a little.
I can't wait till the White Sox score 0 runs tonight. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Everyone,
what happens?
The White Sox. Okay, good luck, guys.
If the White Sox score like 8 runs tonight, your DMs are going to blow up.
My DMs are going to explode, and they
Turn them on.
very well, so they should, and very well they should.
All right, so the movie is Nobody, and there's a sequel coming out. And I don't really know what inspired me to make that today's movie, but that's what it was. And we do have a winner, and we do have Crunch Time coming in here momentarily. Bobby, we gave you enough time. The people are clamoring. They want to know who is going yard. Be as ambitious as you want to be. Who are the Bobby Bombs? Feel free to pick as many White Sox as you want.
I don't have any White Sox, unfortunately. I will say Nick Kurtz. I like Nick Kurtz.
Very ambitious.
Very ambitious indeed, Dean. Jazz Chisholm for some revenge. We get some Jazz revenge. I should pick an angel here because everyone likes the White Sox. Let me go Zach Neto.
Okay. I like that call. By the way, the Marlins give up the most stolen bases in the league by a wide margin. Just a little added value for Jazz. Just that the Marlins are horrific at holding on runners. Just, you're not necessarily rostering him for stolen bases, but you'll take it. You'll certainly take those 5 points. He did get a double steal the other day, so the wheels have been moving of late, and it is a revenge game.
He's the best in chat, easily by far.
Are they still chirping at you? Well, you guys are going to have to take this online because we're going to seamlessly segue to Crunch Time. Dave Potts, we have beer.
I'm not factoring odds. I'm playing DFS. I'm not factoring any odds. Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Let's bring in Crunch Time right now. TJ, I cannot believe they asked you to host on Spider-Man Day. Did they know that when they asked you? I mean, are we interrupting things? Is there a party going on in the background?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I had a whole day planned, whole celebration. We were going to have people over, go to a little parade, and now instead I'm here hanging out with you guys, which, I mean, it's fine, but when you have this, glorious extravaganza for Spider-Man Day planned, it does put a damper on things.
Speaking of glorious, that beard on beer is just spectacular. Wow. That is, I have some beard envy for sure.
Hey,
is that
Steve.
Was that 3 days? How long does that take you to grow?
Shaved yesterday. I usually keep it a little cleaner, and it's let's grow. It's great. It is what it is. Let's grow it out, and here we are. So appreciate that.
It's clear. I'm trying to get back on your good side.
Incredible. That's how I look if I go about a year and a half without shaving and go to a professional beard trimmer person. That's about. I look about 40% of that. You do look amazing.
Hey, you guys making me blush here. Thank you. Appreciate it. But Dean, yes, you're getting back into good graces now with your beard commentary. So
thank you. I'm thoroughly impressed. I never had one of those professional shavings. Not that I ever really needed one, but I always wanted to try one, but never really had much of a beard to ask for it. But it looks like fun. I don't know. Have you ever had one of those beards? Professional shave?
No, this is all homegrown. Trial and error.
It might be dangerous for you, Dean.
Yeah.
Why would it be dangerous?
Why don't we get you a beard going through football season, and we'll see in December, January.
Bobby, if every one of the White Sox come out looking like beer, do you stack them tonight?
No.
Wow. Okay.
Those hockey playoff beards.
That's it.
All right, Bobby. Anything else before you step aside and make way for Crunch Time?
That's it. I'm riding, not playing the White Sox. Good luck, everyone.
Tell the people your Twitter so they can let you know.
Bobby Gomes DFS.
Take the victory lap. And
Bobby's not alone here. A little preview. So Bobby,
thank you.
I'm riding as well.
Thank you.
The lineup's not out just yet. You don't know who's going to be playing. Maybe Frank Thomas is playing.
Matter.
You don't know this.
I mean, they all suck. So it really doesn't matter who they put in their lineup. So
Robin Ventura, maybe. Not sure. All right, that was Bobby Gomes. I was Dean. Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Don't go anywhere. You have 45 minutes nonstop MLB DFS conversation. It's Crunch Time. It's TJ Zwarych. TJ, it's all yours.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to MLB Crunch Time. Like Dean said, I'm your host, TJ Zwarych. We got an all-star crew today, joined by a couple of the sharpest minds in the biz. First up, we got Dave Potts. Cheeseisgood. How you doing, Cheese?
Doing great. I took the 3-game slate as an opportunity to go see Fantastic Four yesterday. I know you will approve of that.
Thoughts?
So enjoyed my day. I thought it was great. It's all coming full circle with the beard, the Rock dude. What had the beard going on, the Rock beard. That was next level. Didn't see that coming. That's my favorite part. That guy can grow a beard.
Yeah, I didn't know how they were going to do that. That was like a thing they pulled from like a random comic book run, and I thought it might look weird, but it actually looked really cool. And
it
fun.
was pretty legit. I'm on board.
Yeah, I thought it was very cool as well. Go check out Fantastic Four in theaters if you have not done so yet. It's I enjoyed it quite a bit. But joining us here as well, we got the aforementioned man with the incredible beard. We got Chris Prince. Beer, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's Friday. Got a nice slate of games. Weekend is approaching. I'd see how excited you are about Spider-Man. So we got a good crew in the chat. Got Cheese here. What could be better? Ready to talk some baseball.
We got 2 Spidey bombs dropped already for 50 likes and 100 likes. We'll drop another one as soon as we get to 150. So keep hitting that like button. First up was Will Smith plus 475. Second, Andrew Benintendi plus 450. Cheese, why don't you give us a little bit of an overview of how you feel about this slate?
It's pretty good. I mean, you got pitchers in every price tier. You've got a Coors Field game that is one of the weirdest Coors Field games ever. And I think like one of the main things, I'm sure everyone who's playing on both sites has already fully figured this out, but like on FanDuel, it's essentially a pick'em tonight. Other than Ohtani, Kurtz, and Cal Raleigh, you play whoever you want and you can afford them. And that Coors Field game is going to be like mega chalky on FanDuel because you can stack either team and still play like the 5 best players in the league around them. But DraftKings has that game priced up, especially on the Pirate side, to where it's kind of weird and probably not even all that chalky. So I like the slate because there's a lot to like, and most of it to me on the hitting side comes later in the night. Even if you don't like the White Sox, we still got like A's, Mariners, Angels, Padres, all these other things after the Coors Field game.
All right, Beer, give me your kind of general thoughts and then lead us into pitching.
Yeah, I agree. It's a fun slate. I think you have a lot of options pitching wise, all different price points, like she said, even at the top, there's decisions to be made. So I think there'll be one chalk guy that we talk about, but lots of options there. Coors Field, always an interesting wrinkle. People are going to be flocking to that game. It's a lot of value too. There's guys that were traded, guys that are coming up, guys that are going to be put into premium spots in lineups that are super cheap that people may not even know who they are yet. So this slate just offers a little bit of everything. So very, very interesting slate. So to kick off pitching, as you see on the screen, and I agree, I think Logan Gilbert is the top option tonight. Was torn between him and Pivetta. I think both are great options. Gilbert on FanDuel is cheaper than Pivetta, so you get that dynamic here where Gilbert's more expensive on DraftKings, cheaper on FanDuel. But he has just been so consistent. Strikeouts have been there, 7 or more in 6 of his last 8 starts. I just like the way he's been pitching. He's been pitching great at home. That's a great pitcher's ballpark there. So he is my number one. I think cash games, you make it work. You can double tap Gilbert and Pivetta, which I've done in lineups. Or there are cheaper options as well. So Pivetta is my number 2. Like him slightly behind Gilbert. They're like a 1A, 1B. Those are my clear top 2. Going down to the next tier, you look at guys like Hunter Brown, Rodon. I prefer Rodon a little bit over Hunter Brown. Matchup-wise, upside-wise, I'm off Hunter Brown tonight. I don't love this matchup for him with Boston tonight. Cheapies, Gavin Williams is probably the main guy, and you on a roller coaster. Gavin Williams, he's up, he's down, but when the ups are up, they're very good. So I think he's probably the most popular cheap to mid-range option tonight. Get a watered down lineup here for him against the Twins. If you're going cheap, Lopez is probably the guy I like the most. Lopez and Anderson, I don't love them honestly, I'm spending more at pitching, putting a couple value bats around a stack, and that's the way I'm really attacking this. But Gilbert, my 1A, Pivetta, my 1B, Williams in between. I think Rodon could probably go a little bit overlooked tonight.
Feel very similarly to you at pitcher tonight, whereas I'm going Gilbert 1, Rodon 3, and then Rodon 2, sorry, and then Pivetta 3, but feel very, very similarly. Cheese, how about you? Who do you like at pitcher today? Who would be your kind of optimal pairing with Gilbert as an SP2?
So I'm with you, TJ. I slightly prefer Rodon over Pivetta, but whatever. Like if you can afford two of those three, great. I have a little Joe Ryan as well, but he's and then Hunter Brown. I did not end up with any. It's fine if you play him; he's good, but I don't think you play all these guys tonight. And then Lopez is my cheap guy as well. I'm just so torn on Gavin Williams. I don't know, guys. I just think my official lean is it's bad chalk. That's just the way I have to go. I don't have quite zero because like this Minnesota lineup is just like there's a bunch of teams that just aren't anything anymore, and that's one of them. But I just goodness, like
the fun thing with this Minnesota team is if you decide to play them on offense, you can get Gilbert and you get Gilbert and Rodon together with other good spend ups.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me. I got Brooks Lee and friends in there. So essentially, like Gavin Williams is maybe my 10th highest owned pitcher, and he'll be the second highest owned pitcher on the slate. And I understand why. I'm not telling you not to play him. I just can't. I can't get really on board with a guy who is chalk. And in like when I say chalk, in like single entry stuff, smaller field, higher dollar, he's going to be very chalky. Like it may not be more than 30% in large field stuff, and that's fine if you want to play him. I get it. He might strike out 10 batters tonight, but when I see a guy who can't throw strikes a lot of the time, I'm not really on board with playing him. That's just where I'm at. I have a little bit of Jack Leiter as a pivot off of Lopez because none of those guys are safe in the slightest. And then I've also got a little bit of Kevin Gausman and David Peterson, just if I can't quite get up to the Pivetta range but don't need to go super cheap.
There seems to be a lot of pitchers that are better real life pitchers and fantasy pitchers. I mean, there's a lot of good pitchers on this slate, the Petersons of the world and, kind of guys in that mid-range tier that just don't have the appeal upside wise for fantasy. So I like the Leiter call as well. It's a little nerve-wracking, but that ballpark, I think he is a solid pivot at under 5%.
I mean, he's basically Gavin Williams. I mean,
yeah.
Leiter and Gavin Williams are almost the same guy, and I think Leiter might be better. Just raw skill set wise, they're very close.
I did get a little bit of Kevin Gausman as well. We didn't talk about him too much, but I'm getting some Gausman just because, we don't really ever know which Gausman we're getting, but when it's the good one, he could end up, he's not really a guy that should ever be 8,500. He should be 10K or 7K, but we don't know which one it should be before the game starts. And so I'm getting a little bit of Gausman as well. This is not a recommendation. I don't think you should do it, but in 150 lineups, I have 3% Sensatella. It's a bad decision. I don't think you should do it. But I'm just telling you I do have it because he's 4,500 and the Pirates are horrific. And so, just what if he gets 3 strikeouts in 6 innings? That's kind of my thought process, but I don't think it's a good idea.
Does that win you a tournament, though? Does that win you a tournament?
Planning on losing.
I could see Pittsburgh. I could see Pittsburgh disappointing. I know their projection's high, but this is not a good team. And we're just assuming they're going to go in and score 6-7 runs. So I like the thought process. I just wish it was a different pitcher than
if it was any of their other pitchers. I would like the idea so much.
I would totally be on board with you at that point.
Their other trash pitchers, I'd like it better, but I am still doing it. Beer, why don't you lead us into what we're doing at Stacks today?
Obviously Coors Field. We don't need to spend a ton of time on that. Although I think the Pirates, I think they're going to be overowned in comparison to what they give you. So I actually prefer the Rockies side there. But my top stack, I am going with the A's tonight. Really love the spot for them. I like some of the prices. Kurtz has gotten expensive, but a lot of the other guys very fairly priced. So I got A's 1, Rockies. I really like the Padres tonight. I don't think that one's going to garner a lot of ownership. We'll get into some of the individuals I like out of there. The Astros on my list, and the Chicago White Sox, who we talked about this morning in the 6-pack. This offense has been good. I mean, it's hard to deny what they've been doing since the All-Star break. I think it's a good spot for them. And talk about cheap. You can stack this team up very easily, still get some premium pitchers, and maybe even another premium bat in there. So White Sox on my list tonight as well.
Same page for me on my top 4 stacks. Let's go 5 since it's all right about 10%. But Dodgers, Athletics, White Sox, Angels, Rockies, where I'm going today. I did fully fade Pittsburgh. I hit the X button on them today. Cheese, what do you plan on doing at stacks?
I mean, you just read my list in order. Do you want to just repeat yours? That's my list. That's my 5. I mean, it is my top 5. I have nothing else to add. That is very literally my top 5, what you just said. And then followed by Mariners and Yankees.
Other 2 I'd throw in there that I like a lot, Diamondbacks and Rays. Not getting to quite as much as them, but I like both of those teams quite a bit today. Just because, like, anytime there's a game in Sacramento and in that Tampa Bay stadium, I just always load up on those 2. They're minor league parks. They're small. They're warm. I like to be loading up on those ones. Cheese, let's start going position by position. We'll start with you for catcher. Already have a catcher as one of my 2 Spidey Bums, Will Smith. 20 likes away from Spidey Bum number 3. Keep hitting that like button. Cheese, who do you like at catcher?
I mean, I love being in lockstep with Spider-Man on Spider-Man Day. Will Smith was my favorite hitter of the day in the survey. I've got him tagged. I think he's going to be overshadowed by Hunter Goodman for good reason. I mean, Goodman's a great play, but I love Will Smith. So essentially, like, to me, the big 3 being Goodman, Will Smith, and Cal Raleigh, like, great. If you can afford a catcher, I think this is, as every day is, a wonderful day to spend up at catcher. Langoliers looks good to me in the mid-tier. I think you can do Quiro as a cheap guy or Logan O'Hoppe. Are we still waiting on the Angels lineup? We were a few minutes ago. Like, kind of never know when he's going to play, but
It's not out yet.
Okay. So keep an eye on that. You could go down to, like, you could do like Yiner Diaz instead of Quiro if you wanted something cheap, but I prefer Quiro, but really I prefer spending up at catcher more so than almost everything.
Beer, how about you?
A lot of similar names. I mean, Goodman stands out to me in the high end. I like Will Smith as well. Joey Bart, too, has been a disappointment, but you get a cheaper Coors Field bat with some power behind the dish. My favorite is Edgar Quiro. 2,700 is tough to beat. We like this matchup. He's been very good against lefties, and he's been very lucky. The BABIP is way up there, so the numbers are a little bit inflated, but still a 425 WOBA against lefties. So he's probably my favorite, just a way to save some money, spend it elsewhere. I do like Langoliers tonight against the Sclafani. And Yiner Diaz is just too cheap at 3,200. So that's pretty much my list. But Edgar Quiro is my go-to here at 2,700.
All right, take us over to first base.
I mean, the premium you can spend here, Shohei, Kurtz are both phenomenal plays. I think top end plays on this slate. I didn't see if Yandy Diaz was in the lineup tonight. Let me check that real quick. He is. Okay, so I really like him tonight. Good price point on him. Spencer Horowitz. Nolan Schanuel will be a sneaky play here if you can't get to any of the higher-end guys. But my favorite, another value, Tyler Locklear, one of those guys, again, people don't really know much about, but coming over in the trade, this guy gives you power and speed. He's 19 home runs, 17 stolen bases at AAA this season. So he's a guy you can save some money on. If you can't get up to Kurtz Ohtani, I prefer to go that route and save some money here. He's hitting fifth tonight. We like Lopez, but Lopez also a guy that can get blown up by right-handed power. So Tyler Locklear, a cheap name. Not related to Heather as far as I know, but
do you know that? Did you look that up?
I did not look it up. I did not do that much research on him this morning, but we can certainly find it. Would be even cooler if he was. I'd like him even more, but we'll see. I think he's a good value tonight.
Lockstep once again. My highest own is Ohtani. Number 2 is Kurtz. Number 3 is Locklear. Cheese, how about you? Who do you like at first?
Yeah, I mean, same group. I think Locklear is a fine cheap play, along with Warming Bernabel. Pete Alonso is another guy I just want to make sure I get a little bit of. Other than that, I don't really have anything to add.
All right, take us to second.
It's just always such a weird position. Like Ketel Marte and sort of Jazz Chisholm are super interesting spend ups. But like on DraftKings, it's really hard to get there. Like you do run out of salary on DraftKings. You do not run out of salary on FanDuel. So I'm playing a fair amount of Marte there. But on DK, this is where I'm going with my cheap Twins or a Lennon Sosa. I have a lot of Cody Clemens and Brooks Lee, and I've got Sosa as well. Because if I can't get Marte and Jazz, like I don't care to spend for any of these guys. I mean, Nick Gonzalez is fine, but I'm not sure that's really a $4,500 player. I don't love Lau against a lefty who's still kind of real life okay, even though he's obviously not the same guy. Yeah, so for me, it's all the way up or all the way down.
Beer, how about you? Who are you prioritizing at second?
A lot of similar names and similar thoughts. If I'm spending, it's going to be on Jazz. I like the matchup here with Junk. I like the homecoming narrative for him. Ketel Marte is right in the mix here as well. Higher end, I think Altuve could be a little bit sneaky. If you can't quite find your way up to those guys, a little bit of a discount on him, so I don't mind him at low ownership. Gonzalez is intriguing just because he's in Coors. He's hitting cleanup. Is he a $4,500 player? I agree with Cheese, but if they are going to put up runs, he's likely involved hitting in that cleanup spot. I had Chase Madroth, but it looks like he is out of the lineup tonight. So I agree. Kobe Clemens hitting cleanup at a cheap price is probably the best value at this spot.
15 likes away from Spidey Bomb number 3. Keep hitting that like button. Beer, who do you like at third?
Manny Machado, my favorite bat probably on this entire slate. I mean, he has just been red hot, gets a good matchup with the lefty. Now Liberatore is not a guy that generally gets blown up. He's kind of one of them decent real-life pitchers, not a great fantasy pitcher, but Machado's numbers against lefties have just been incredible, and 7 multi-hit games over his last 8. So he is locked in right now. Junior Caminero, another one I really like against Kershaw. A sneaky one in kind of mid-range, Matt Chapman against Peterson at 4,100. And then Royce Lewis, always going to be on my value list at that price point. And I think Ryan McMahon could be sneaky here tonight. Down the lineup a little bit, not quite hitting in that 3-4-5 that he was in Colorado. I think he could be an interesting maybe one-off player if you're stacking the Yankees. But love Manny Machado tonight. It's my favorite bat on this slate.
All right, Cheese, how about you? Who do you like at third?
Yeah, I was fully sold on Machado even before Beer, made it more obvious. Like I love him, and he won't even really be super popular.
Nope.
Which is amazing. So yeah, give me all the Machado. I almost don't even want to talk about anyone else. I will because that's what we do. But I'm playing Machado. But like Caminero and Jose Ramirez are interesting spend ups as well. Yeah, I think the Matt Chapman thing is interesting, and Addison Barger in that mid range I think is interesting. And then I have Lewis and some Colson Montgomery.
All right, take it to the shortstop.
It's I think we're going to have some combination of Tovar and Mookie Betts as chalk, with not much interest at all in the expensive guys, just because of the way the matchups work. I do want to make sure I get a little Bobby Witt, although I prefer Zach Neto tonight. But I do think Tovar is a great play for that salary. I prefer him to Betts. And then FanDuel, O'Neal Cruz is a shortstop and 3,400. And I think that's kind of the obvious play there if you don't want to use 2 shortstops. I do think Cruz will be kind of goofy, chalky on FanDuel, but I don't like that's too cheap. So I'm good with him there. I don't really like
Colson Montgomery.
Yeah, so I have almost as much of him at third, because at third is basically either Machado or him. So I probably have him evenly split between third and short, just because I like Tovar for 3,900 better than the cheap third baseman. So basically, yeah, if I have Machado, then I like Colson at short, but otherwise I prefer Colson at third.
Beer, how about you? Who do you like at short?
It's an ugly damn position today. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty bad. So I think Tovar is your best value price wise, matchup wise. If you're playing cash games, I think you just lock him in and move on. I do like Neto as well against Smith. Witt could be one of them sneaky spend ups tonight. So don't mind that call if you want to avoid some of the ownership on Tovar, which doesn't look that bad. I thought it'd be a little bit higher, honestly, at this position. But if that were to get up there 20-25%, maybe you flip the script, you spend up a little bit on Witt. And then Jeremy Pena, another interesting name here tonight. I think Houston a little bit sneaky in this matchup with Boston.
All right, take us to the outfield.
So many options here. So I'll try not to take them all. Cheese, Pittsburgh, easy. You just talked about O'Neal Cruz, who may, with the price differential, some people on DraftKings may not want to pay that price. But FanDuel, he's certainly a value. Reynolds in play. Really like Mike Trout tonight. Luis Robert, one of my favorite values. He's pretty cheap, has hit lefties well. I like Machado. I also like Fernando Tatis. I think that's an interesting stack tonight. The A's are in play. I think all their outfielders. I really like Soderstrom tonight. Jesus Sanchez, good value. I think the Yankees guys are too cheap. And then Austin Martin, 2,300. If you're not a Gavin Williams stan, pretty good price on him tonight.
All right, Cheese, how about you? Who do you like in the outfield?
It's pretty loaded, obviously. And again, like every position on FanDuel, you can just play all the Coors Field bats very easily, as well as Rooker and Trout are just noticeably cheap as always on FanDuel, which is, again, what makes that basically just a pick 'em tonight. You play who you want. On DK, essentially, well, it's fine to spend up like Cruz, Ohtani, like the guys between 4 and 5K. It's just super loaded between the Angels, the A's, the Pirates. Put Jordan Beck and Teoscar in there if you want, but like the Rooker, Trout, Adele, Ward, Butler, Soderstrom, Reynolds, McCutchen. I think that's the range most people are going to live in, and I do have a lot of teams with just 3 of those outfielders. Luis Robert also high on my list. There's not too much reason to go super duper cheap in the outfield because you don't have to go all the way up. And like, I don't know if I have anyone below 3K outside of the occasional full stack.
There's not a lot. I think there's way better values at other spots. That this is not a spot you want to go super cheap at. There's a few options, but I think you're right in that kind of 35 at Robert is probably about as low as I want to go, but that 3.5 to 5K range is absolutely loaded.
All right, well, before we start getting into some questions, we will give you some home run picks, 5 likes away from Spidey Bomb 3. So keep hitting that like button. It's 5 more likes, and we got a third one to go along with Will Smith and Andrew Benintendi. But Beer, I'll throw it to you first. Who you got hitting a home run tonight?
Got 3 tonight. Manny Machado, obviously, got him at plus 350. Luis Robert at plus 440. And I'm going to take a shot on Tyler Locklear. I wish it was a little higher, but got him at plus 575. Was hoping that one would be, plus 750, 800, but we'll take the plus 575.
All right, Cheese, how about you? Who do you got hitting a homer?
My first 3 names would have been Machado, Robert, and Will Smith, but Beer and Spidey have already taken them. So I will do 3 other ones. Just know that my next 3 are not as exciting as the 3 that have already been taken. Let's go with Jordan Beck in the mid-tier, and who's a little different? Royce Lewis for a cheap guy. It's definitely a little different. And then expensive Eugenio Suarez.
All right, I'll start taking some QQs here. First, going to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat. Next, going to the YouTube chat. We do still have lots of time here left before lock. It's not till 7:07, so it is still 24 minutes away. So probably getting out of here a little bit early, but we will see. As long as you guys got questions, we will keep hitting them for you as well. Spidey Bomb number 3 today at plus 525. Andy Pajes. Neither of you guys just said him, right? I just zoned out. Okay, good.
I thought about it, but no, that's good.
Good. I just realized that I was like looking at something and pulling Discord up as you guys were giving your home run picks, and I totally missed them. But Andy Pajes, Spidey Bomb number 3. And so that goes along with Will Smith and Andrew Benintendi. Taking some QQs here. Cheese, will Jock Peterson ever make contact with a baseball again?
I don't know. Will he get to face Antonio Senzatella? If so, then yes. If not, then no.
All right. Next question. FanDuel Cash Beer, Locklear and Machado, or Goodman and Bernabel?
Locklear Machado.
DK Cash Cheese, Goodman and Jock, or Will Smith and Austin Martin?
Wow. Each side has a name that I would not have considered at any point for a second. But I will say Will Smith and Martin.
FanDuel Beer, Tovar or Horwitz?
I like Tovar. Horowitz will, if you're talking tournament, maybe be a little bit lower owned, but give me Tovar.
All right. DK Cash Cheese, Clemens and Luis Roberts, or Nick Gonzalez and Austin Martin?
I mean, I think the air quotes correct answer is Gonzalez Martin, but that's not what I would do. I would do Clemens Robert.
Cheese, if 3 maxing on FanDuel, are you running Gilbert in all 3, or would you do 1 Rodon?
I would do 3 Gilberts.
All right. FanDuel, Clemens or Montgomery, Beer?
Clemens.
What is the order for Brian Reynolds, Mike Trout, and Brent Rooker for DK Cash, Cheese?
That's another one of those. It's probably air quotes correct to say Brian Reynolds, but I wouldn't do that. I would go Trout, Rooker, Reynolds.
All right. Favorite contrarian, it says to Cheese specifically, but we'll ask both of you. Favorite contrarian pitcher to pivot off of Gavin Williams, but it's also a FanDuel question.
Well, so on FanDuel, Gaussman is only $500 more. So if that counts, it's definitely Gaussman. If it has to be someone cheaper than Williams, I would just go down to Lopez.
Brent Rooker or Mike Trout, Beer?
Trout.
What is TJ's favorite Spider-Man movie? Ooh, that is tough to say. I think I would probably go like, not best, but favorite would be No Way Home, just because of the things that they managed to do in that most recent one. A lot of news about that new movie, about the new Spider-Man movie today. Hulk's going to be in it. They're bringing Hulk in for Spider-Man 4. Cheese, you want Joey Loperfido or Andrew Benintendi?
Benintendi.
Do I need the cruise missile in DK Cash, Beer?
I don't think you need O'Neal Cruz. He's expensive, in a good spot, obviously, but need is a bit strong.
What do you think about Gio Urshela with an A's stack? Cheese?
Is that lineup out?
Yeah, he's sitting 6th, I believe.
And he's totally fine. Like
Yeah.
you pretty much need one of those random cheap dudes in the stack. And I have Urshela in one. So yeah, I think that's totally fine.
Favorite FanDuel single entry tournament, Cheese? Or sorry, Beer?
Faber, what? I missed it. What'd you say?
Favorite single entry tournament pitcher for FanDuel?
Single entry tournament. Let's say I'm gonna go with Rodon.
J3 says TJ is a fan of Tobey Maguire. I have nothing against Toby. I think he's great, but he is easily the worst of the Spider-Man. Who would be your cash starting pitchers for DK, Cheese?
I mean, 100% for sure, Gilbert. And then it really depends what you're doing elsewhere. Like Gavin Williams is like the go-to answer. I would be getting up to probably Pavetta and just playing a few extra cheap bats. But personally, I would do Lopez instead of Gavin Williams. But again, there's a whole bunch of these questions where I've had to say the correct answer is Gavin Williams. If I was playing cash, I would not have him.
Brian Reynolds or Andrew McCutchen, Beer?
Reynolds.
Single entry on DK, Cheese, Brenton Doyle and Jorge Polanco, or Tyler Freeman and Lennon Sosa?
Freeman Sosa.
All right. Mark McGuire or Sammy Sosa, Beer?
What a great question. I mean, I'll say McGuire did it over a longer time frame, but Sosa, that whole thing was very entertaining with those two.
He was the more entertaining guy in that little stretch for sure.
Yeah, McGuire came off as kind of I'm not going to say the word, but you know what I'm getting at here. So McGuire long-term career-wise, but Sosa was very, very entertaining during that time for sure.
DK Cash, 3,300 or less at catcher, Cheese. So essentially you're looking at Cuero or Yainer Diaz.
Yeah, I would play Cuero, but either is good.
Who's your favorite low-owned tournament pitcher for FanDuel, Beer?
I don't have
say
FanDuel ownership, but what's Lopez sitting at? If not him, I would take a shot on maybe a Jack Leiter.
There you go. Cheese, are the Dodgers officially trash now?
Well, obviously no, but also obviously they're also not just the best team anymore. Like they're a team you don't have to play every day anymore and don't have to avoid playing against, but they're still good. And you should I'm playing them tonight.
On FanDuel, Tyler Freeman and Mike Trout or Shea Langoliers and Tyler Soderstrom, Beer?
I'm going to go with the A's duo there, Langoliers and Soderstrom.
I like that as well. FanDuel single entry, Cheese, where does Tauchman rank amongst your White Sox for stacks today? Was not projected to be in the lineup, is now leading off.
Yeah, I can't honestly answer that great because I didn't look at him all day and just saw that he's playing. Tentatively, I would say you probably want to get him in now. I don't know. But I'm not going to go switch lineups to get him ahead of Benintendi and Robert. So if I was starting from scratch now, my best guess is he would be my 6th White Sox.
All right. DK Cash, Rodon, or Gilbert. That is absolutely Gilbert by far. What was Spidey Bomb 1? It was Will Smith to go along with Andrew Benintendi and Andy Pages. Would you play O'Neal Cruz as a one-off, Beer, or are you too worried it'd be too chalky?
If I'm playing him, it would be as part of a stack. I mean, you can play him as a one-off, great hitter, great environment, but he just feels overpriced on draft. FanDuel feels too cheap. DraftKings feels too expensive.
Cheese, are the Robbie Ray rules in play today? Nobody's playing them. Do we got to load up?
So I said this in the musings a few weeks ago, and I'll say it again. The Robbie Ray rule does not actually apply to Robbie Ray. It applies to pitchers of a certain style. And Robbie Ray isn't really necessarily of that style anymore. Like present day Robbie Ray isn't really the Robbie Ray in which the rule came from. So you can absolutely play him. But to me, the Robbie Ray rules don't apply to 2025 Robbie Ray.
All right, let's see. That's it for new questions right now. We have hit all of them. Somebody, Alex wants to know, who do I like best between Cuero and Diaz? Yeah, it's literally a flip of the coin for me. I think I'd maybe go Diaz if I just had that extra salary and couldn't use that 600 to spend up elsewhere. But just kind of like in a vacuum, it's Cuero I like better if I can use the money, and if not, I would probably just use Diaz. That's it for all the questions. Feels a little too early to get out. And so, Beer, why don't you give us a bit of a recap of your top 3 pitchers? We'll do a quick stack recap, and then if there's no more questions, we'll skedaddle.
Pitching, I have Logan Gilbert at the top, Nick Pivetta as a 1B. Gilbert leaning a little bit cheaper on FanDuel is interesting. And Rodon as my number 3. Lopez lighter as the cheapies. As far as stacks, I really like the A's tonight. Coors Field, obviously. The Padres, I think, could be sneaky. A couple great bats in that lineup with Machado and Tatis. Really like the Astros. And I think the White Sox as a sneaky off-the-radar stack that's cheap. Home run calls again. Machado at plus 350. Luis Robert at plus 440. And Tyler Locklear at plus 575.
All right, Cheese, give us a quick recap of your top 5 stacks.
That would be the Angels, A's, White Sox, Dodgers, Rockies.
Beer, you want Josh Naylor or Spencer Horwitz for DK?
Horowitz.
Favorite low-owned stack versus a good pitcher in DK GPPs? Is there anybody you're facing against a good pitcher today, Cheese?
Only if you count Gavin Williams as a good pitcher.
If you were doing something super crazy, I don't think it's nuts to play Cleveland against Joe Ryan. Would maybe, or even maybe a little bit of Boston if you're running a ton of lineups, but I don't think you got to mess around with either of those teams if you're only playing a few.
The Mets against Robbie Ray is interesting as well.
True. Good points. DK Cash, Tovar, or Mookie, Beer?
Tovar. Both great, though.
What will be the winning lineup at DraftKings? Asking for a friend. Great question. I don't know.
I texted it to your friend, so
I wish we could answer it. Hunter Brown or Gilbert? If you have the money, Beer, are you going up to Hunter Brown or just leaving it as Gilbert?
I am still Gilbert. I worry a little bit about Hunter Brown in this spot, so Gilbert.
Hoosiers Hang Banners wants to know, Cheese, where you go for a haircut?
Upstairs.
There you go, Mrs. Cheese.
That was going to be my guess. That or Great Clip.
Yeah.
So, but
so I do
90%
90% of it myself, and then Mrs. Cheese just cleans up around the edges. It's actually pretty great going bald. Like there are way more pluses than minuses.
All right. Last question, I think here. Single entry, Caminero and DeLuca or Kim. 3v3, Beer. You ready?
I'm ready.
Caminero, DeLuca, and Kim, or Otani, Pena, and Houston Sanchez?
I'm going to go with the second set. Get Otani in there.
Cheese, can you rank the 4K outfielders for the Rockies and Athletics? Who would be your priorities among that kind of core of players?
A bunch of them. I would go Rooker first, Jordan Beck second, and then Soderstrom, then Butler.
All right. That's it. That'll do it. Oh, no, we got one more in a couple more in Discord. Gaussman or Gavin Williams for DK, Beer?
I'm gonna say Gaussman. I don't know that he has a ton of ownership. I'm worried about this ownership on Gavin Williams.
DK GPP is top first baseman under 4K.
Under 4K. I think the one I have the most of is Bernabel, and followed by Miguel Vargas.
I'd say Locklear, just to add another name in there.
Yeah, he's so much cheaper. Like that's almost not a.
Yeah.
Under, I mean, I realize it's an under 4K question, but like
Right.
he's so much under. Yeah, I do have him as well.
All right, that will. Oh, FanDuel Butler. Every time I say that, I'll do it. A new question just popped right in. FanDuel Butler or Horwitz, Beer?
I'm gonna go Butler there. I think the A's. Like I said, I like all of their outfielders tonight. He's been slumping a little bit, but still a lot of upside in that bat.
Who would be your 4 players to stack for Showdown FanDuel GPP? Well, I guess that.
I just saw that. I wonder if he means the Padres.
Oh, for San
Gotta
Diego.
be.
Yes, duh.
Gotta be.
That makes way more sense. Who are your top 4 Padres, Cheese?
Definitely Machado and Tatis, and then I would do Ramon Laureano, and then build the rest of your lineup and see what's left. Like I don't think you have to do the 4th Padre first. Like go ahead and build the rest and just take whatever's left, position wise.
All right. Now that'll do it. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Oh, we got one more. A mini stack for the Twins. Okay, and FanDuel single entry. Cheese, both of you and I like them quite a bit, but I feel like that might be more of a DraftKings thing.
Yeah, much more on DraftKings. It's okay on FanDuel, but like much more of a DK thing.
Here's a great question. Now, somebody asked about Happy Gilmore too, which is a hot topic. So we got a minute or two. I really enjoyed it. I did not have expectations that it's always is the sequel going to be as good as the original? It was not, but some of it was a little cheesy with the new golf league and things. I won't spoil anything, but I thought it was entertaining. I think they did a good job on it.
I'm actually watching it in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Mrs. Cheese is gone tonight, so that was going to be my Friday evening entertainment. I'll let you know next time.
All right. Kurtz, Rooker, Cuero, or Goodman, Beck, Bernabell. So basically you want your athletic stack with Cuero or a full Rockies stack, Cheese?
I really like both of those, and I have about an even mix of those. I would probably say start with the Kurtz, Rooker, Cuero.
For SimLabs, what setting would you use for 20 max large field or small field? Well, it actually the amount of players, the amount of entries you can play doesn't matter in that setting. It's the amount. It's about the amount of entries that are in the total contest, and so it depends. If it's a 20 entry max with 800 people, 1,000 people, I would probably put small field or closer to that range. If it was one with 5,000 people, then I would definitely be keeping it on the large field side of things. But Happy Gilmore 2, I haven't got a chance to see it yet, but basically like what I've heard from everybody is go in expecting it to be stupid with some silly jokes and you'll enjoy it. You'll have fun.
When you get here in
Happy
10
Gilmore
minutes, TJ,
1.
Be masterpiece in your
come on
ear.
down.
Yeah, that's
What is
Happy
it?
Gilmore 1 was the same thing. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, TJ, if you can get here in like 10 minutes, come join me. We'll watch it.
I'll see if I can make it happen. Saskatchewan, Alabama, the most north part of North America to the most south. I'm sure that's probably pretty
easy
easy.
trip.
Bullet
Easy
train.
trip.
Yeah. Beer, who's your favorite catcher on DK under 4K?
I'm on Cuero tonight.
Okay, Cheese, you need someone who is unowned, so 0% that is going to score 50 points on FanDuel tonight for a pitcher.
I mean, there's not very many that even could. I mean, I would say Carlos Rodon is the only one who could.
SP2, 2v2, Williams and Gilberts or Williams and Leiter? That doesn't make sense. Maybe you mean Brown and Leiter? Give us maybe
Gilbert instead of Leiter, if that's really the question.
Yeah, like it's Gilbert over Leiter if that's the question, but I think that probably was
I doubt that's the
a
question.
typo of having Williams twice. But he did want to say, shout out to Cheese. He got to meet Michael got to meet you at the Fantasy FanDuel Baseball World Classic in 2019.
Who was
Michael Polano.
Oh, yeah, that guy's awesome.
Hernandez or Urshela for your athletic stack, Beer?
Urshela.
Am I going to regret Yiner Diaz over Cuero? Maybe it's 50-50 shot. Flip a coin. We'll see.
They're both good value. So
It's doubtful either one like breaks the slate to where
Right.
you regret not having them.
FanDuel Cheese, is it crazy to leave 800 on the table? I have White Sox and Rockies stacked, and I paid up at pitcher.
No, you can leave salary.
Does Vladdy Guerrero look good tonight? Not really. I feel like the Jays are a team that you can.
Hey, and
play.
so let me say
They're
this. I see in the chat. Cheese has no idea who Michael is. I legitimately 100% know exactly who Michael is. I remember specifically. I was there with Scott Crones, who used to be an editor at RotoGrinders, and we talked to him for like 2 hours in this weird little bar. And like, I would absolutely be like, oh yeah, he was a great guy, but I like fully 100% remember him very well, and legitimately would hang out with him in real life anytime, not DFS related or not. He's great.
I like the Robert Duvall call here too. Is Cheese related to Robert Duvall? I see
Absolutely
it.
am.
It's a great
Yeah.
call.
I think this may actually be the last question now, guys. 8th stack, Hernandez Butler or Soderstrom Urshela?
Second set for me.
All right. That'll do it, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow for, I believe, 2:05 Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken off the top of my head. For some more crunch time tomorrow, it'll be myself, Tasteful Tides Tim, and Justin Van Zuden, a.k.a. STL Cardinals. Final question as we get out of here. I assume this might be, this has to be a FanDuel question for prices. Cheese, you want White Sox or Pirates? White Sox or Pirates?
Pirates.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. On behalf of myself, Cheese, Beer, the wonderful Steve, working hard behind the scenes. We'll see you next time, everybody. Peace.